everyone, welcome to the second part of my mini-series on Brian Setzer. We're going to take a look at the second part of Hot Rod Girl. That's a great solo off his album Ignition. All of these lessons are based off of this transcription pack I just came out with on my website. You can purchase by seeing the link in the description below. It's a note-for-note transcription of three different solos that all kind of show really good examples of how Brian Setzer fuses country, rockabilly, classic rock, western swing, surf, etc. All the genres, it seems like, in his playing on guitar, and does so melodically and quite simply too. And so this series is all designed by kind of looking at parts of those solos and incorporating them into our own playing. So in the first lesson, we looked at the tune Hot Rod Girl, and we looked at kind of his swing influence on his single note lines. Now we're going to look at his influence of kind of block chord soloing in this one. And that intro solo I did was not the Hot Rod Girl solo, it was a riff off the Hot Rod Girl solo, using some of those ideas, and we'll kind of walk through that and have some fun with it. Now, if you're wanting to go really in-depth with the chord solos, I do have to say I did an extensive look at how Barney Kessel uses shell voicings all over his playing, and how he kind of took from the big band, kind of huge horn section shout chorus, and infused that into his own playing to amp up his solos. And there will be links in the description below to that as well, so you can look at it even further. But in this case, in the Hot Rod Girl solo, if you haven't heard it, go listen to it. But it's kind of just based off of 2 or 3 types of chords. We've got, if we're in C, we've got a fourth. That just means all of the notes in this are a fourth apart. So if we're looking at the top note, which is what I would recommend, we've got C, then G, D, then A. So it's fret-wise 8, 8, 7, 7. And that's going to be kind of our first normal chord that he uses the most, right? So if you've got like a blues scale, right, you can harmonize it with that, which I highly recommend practicing doing. Right, that just gets you kind of used to that sound. Okay, so that's our first one on the C chord there. And then our next kind of chord that he uses quite a bit is a 9 chord, a 7/9 chord, or with the extension of the 13. So if we have like an F chord right here, this is our F chord. Here's our 9. So we have A, E flat, G, C, the 3rd, flat 7th, 9th, and 5th. So that's our first kind of normal version of it. Then we can add the extension of the 13. And we've got the D, which is the 13 of it. So you can just kind of have fun going C to F and come up with some ideas. So on. So that's kind of your next one. And then if we're going to a B flat chord, we'll use this as an example of the B flat chord. It's just a 13, right? So this is our normal kind of B flat triad, B flat, F, D, B flat. We drop this to an A flat. We have the D. We're going to raise the F up to a G. There's our 13. And we have the B flat up top and the C for the 9 on the first string as well, if we want to add that. So if we were going to incorporate that kind of into like a blues, you might go. So hopefully you could hear some of those 13s in there. So those are the 3 main chords. We've got kind of to go from backwards to forwards, you've got kind of a 13 and a 9 chord and two different kind of chord shapes. and we have the 4th, right? And then it's just really a matter of thinking simply, thinking simple rhythms, and just moving stuff around in half steps. So like in that intro solo, the chord progression of Hot Rod Girl goes C to F to B flat to E flat. Okay, that's the first part of it. It's just a cycle, right? Of resolving one to another. So what I like doing is when I'm going to the next chord, I'm going to target that chord by going a half step above it. So if I'm playing C, if I'm going like, then F, then B flat, then E flat. Right? So you get a cool effect, like up to the F7, F7, B flat, to the C, and then we'll do, come down into the next part. I'll show you that in a second. So one more time though, we have, so C, half step, F, half step, B flat, half step, E flat. There's the F, F, B flat, C, and then it just comes G, F, C. So we'll go G, just chromatic down, C. So let's mess around with that. So we might go, and so on. And that turnaround, it's a walk down to the 5. So you can kind of go, he does a B flat, A flat, G there. You could play, you kind of mess around with the rhythm and go C, and work your way down there like that. But all just those kind of 13 chords, then do like a chromatic thing back there. So you just mess around with kind of moving those chords around, right? We'll do another one. And so on. All right. So that's the basic idea of kind of how Brian Setzer uses those chord voicings. And once you kind of get that down under your fingers, let's do a bunch of his other stuff, and you'll just kind of hear the same groups of chords repeating themselves. But it's how he uses it. It's how he it really swings it, which makes it a lot of fun. Once you get those chords under your fingers, it's quite simple. So mess around with that, and in the next video, we'll take a look at another tune of his off that transcription pack. Thank y'all.